Hey guys, I'm gonna do a quick little garden update before I get into the main goal of this video, just kind of talking about the garden, my ups and downs and difficulties and things I've learned. So let's just get into the garden tour really quick. Ignore the sound in the background, we're doing some yard work, but after weeks of these tomatoes not at all ripening, just being green, look what is starting to happen. Oh my word. This canopy really helps. And look at these. There's more tomatoes here that are growing and ripening. And there's some of these. The leaves don't look amazing, but these do. And look at these tomatoes. They are ready. They're not ready yet, but they're getting there. I already picked one that size this morning. I'm so excited. So the deal with this canopy, you're probably like, why do you have the canopy? So the tomatoes that I just showed you were not ripening for the longest time. I can't remember if I actually showed that in an earlier video or not, but if I didn't, I'll just explain it. They were not ripening at all, and it is now August 1st, and they're just now ripening, which is telling you something. But before then, they were not ripening at all, and I looked it up, and it's because of the sun. They could not grow in the super hot sun. We had so many really high 85 plus days that they did not do good at all. They were not able to ripen, and so I was really bummed out, and I was like, okay, what's going on? I looked it up. They were like, it's too hot for them and you should probably get a shade cover. And so I was like, okay, let me try to find a shade cover. I found this one and off Amazon, got it like 2 days later or something. Got it like 2 days later and put it up, and it's been like this for at least 2 weeks. And they told me that the tomatoes could take up to 2 weeks to start ripening, but the little ones already started producing. I've picked so many and I'm so happy about it. They taste amazing, they're so good, and they just keep coming, they just keep ripening, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. So I know that this shade works so well, and I'm so thankful that I looked that up and was able to fix this. I was so excited for my tomatoes this year because I got the big tomatoes, like the Romas and the San Marzano tomatoes, and they were not ripening. So I was like, dude, what the heck? I wanted to use these tomatoes to make stuff, and they're not ripening, but now they are, and I'm so happy I get to use them in things. I don't know what yet. I was planning to make like sauce and stuff like that, but I don't know if I'll have enough, especially since it's getting later in the summer, but maybe I will. We'll see. If I do, I will definitely keep you guys updated and tell you what I make with everything. But for now, I'm just really excited about the progress that we're having in the garden with the tomatoes, at least. I'm like crawling under. That's the only downside, is that I have to crawl under this shade to get to my plants. But not only has it helped the tomatoes, but it has also helped my peppers. Look at these peppers. Look at this big one. Oh my gosh. This is the only pepper on this plant. But if you look back here, 1, 2, 3 peppers. And they are growing very quick. I'm not sure why this one only has 1 and those have 3, what the difference is, but I'm not upset, so at least we have progress. Okay, also, here is the zucchini that I transplanted, and we'll just let you look at it and decide. It's not amazing, but it's not awful, I guess. It's definitely a lighter green like this one. This one is also insane. I don't know why it's growing up like that. My dad is currently flamethrowing the weeds on our sidewalk. Sorry about that noise. They're still producing flowers, which is cool, and it seems to be, you know, getting pretty tall, decently tall, but I think they're just too crunchy. They're too light green. On the camera, it makes it look a lot darker than they actually are. I mean, they're supposed to look like that. They definitely don't look like that. But I'm still fine with literally just letting it grow. Look at the difference in the stem color as it gets higher. It's quite interesting. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it grow. I'm still watering it, so we'll see how it goes. Back under the canopy to show you my bigger zucchini plants. You can see I've been doing a lot of cutting. You're gonna see this white stuff. That's not like any fungus or anything like that. It's just a powder that I put on them to keep bugs away. I did the same thing to my beans, if you can kind of see some spots over there. But look at that go. It is going crazy. It actually had a stem that was starting to grow along the bottom here, and I just cut it off because I was like, I don't need two different things. Because normally, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but zucchini likes to grow like on the ground, and so that's why it gets really big and huge. And so doing it like this, trying to help it grow up, is supposed to help with the space, first of all, but also it's just gonna be better for the plant. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing so many new zucchini seedlings. Not seedlings, sprouts. Look at those. Do you know what to look for? This one, there's one there. Oh, so exciting. We've got a lot of male flowers already opening, and I really feel bad for them because they have nothing to pollinate. Well, also, I don't know if you guys know why this is happening. My male flowers will bloom and then just fall off. Like, it's really weird. And I have to pick them up. And they just, I don't know what it is. They just start blooming really, really early and then they fall off. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I end up cutting these off because they're, they're not worth anything anymore. One really sad, unfortunate thing is you might see here, this looks different than all the other ones. It's not hollow. That was actually where a zucchini was growing, and I had to cut it off because it got really, really small. I took it off and I cut it open. It was not very good. Now this one is actually split in two, which is interesting. Not ideal, but it's still growing stuff. It has a lot of these that just fall off. It's producing a lot of flowers, so I don't know if I should just completely cut off one of them or leave both of them. But I'm not really having much fruit, like female fruiting happening on this one, which is a bit of a bummer, but I think it was just that it didn't have enough calcium. And I did just sprinkle some eggshells in the bottom of both these pots just today, so we'll see if that helps or not. So now I just wanted to show you my green bean plant. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. It's going crazy. Like I was saying earlier, this is just powder. It's not going to hurt the plant. If anything, it's helping the plant. You can see all the damage from all the pests I had. I had a lot of Japanese beetles just munching on all of my leaves. Like, look at that. Oh, terrible. So bad. There were so many. So I got this stuff that you sprinkle over all your plants and it keeps lots of bugs away. It's doing so well. Look at this though. Like, look at all these flowers. This, I'm like telling it to go this way because it's gonna get so long. I don't want to cut it off because there's so many flowers on it and I want as many beans as possible, but it has nowhere else to go. It cannot get any higher. So but I was looking at it today and there's so many little beans coming in. Look at that. Another bean there, 2 beans there. Just so many. I'm so excited. Like all of these, there's so many little beans growing. I'm so excited. And my dream of being able to go under here and pick green beans is literally coming to life, because sometimes I'll literally just come under, I'll look up, and I'll try to find any green beans that I can. Oh, and it's so fun. We are now in the carrot rhubarb area. You can ignore the rhubarb. I honestly don't really care. It is getting eaten up by bugs, but we didn't end up really needing the rhubarb for anything. I was just glad to see it sprouting, so I honestly don't care that it looks really bad because I'm not even gonna use it. But you're gonna see here my carrots. Whoa. And here's the kicker. Boom. How insane is that? I don't know how big they were the last time I showed you guys, but they are huge now. Oh my goodness. Remember how I planted more little seeds over here? They're starting to grow. They're kind of sporadic. There's not as many as I was hoping for. I can't tell if it's just kind of compact or not. I think it's a little bit compact, just the top layer of the straw. So I might need to kind of do a little bit of this, but I've done that every once in a while and I still don't really see too much growing. So I don't know, maybe I'll plant more, maybe I'll leave it. We'll see. Depends on how many of these carrots we actually get, but I'm really excited. I'm not sure if this is actually a bad thing, because it looks like there's 2 in there. You see what I'm talking about? The other ones usually, most of them have 1. So I can't tell if this one's just going to be really, really weird or if it's just going to not really grow. So I guess we'll see. But majority of them, they look so good. Oh my word, I'm so excited. Like, there's still new leaves coming. Like, look at these. Ugh, so exciting. This is probably one of the biggest things I'm excited for because it's actually looking so good. I've just been using these as like a greenhouse effect. But also to keep any animals from chomping on my leaves. So it's really cool because you can see them still through this. This is literally an old refrigerator drawer that we took out and it was just in my garage. I was like, what can I put on top? It's perfect. And that's just a random little cubby. But yeah, overall, the garden is doing decently well, doing way better than the last time I showed you since I got this canopy. The clip of the tomatoes was actually taken yesterday. Look how much more ripe they are. Oh my word. So exciting. All right, it is officially time to pollinate my zucchini plant. As you can see, it's huge, not only, but it also has 3 flowers on it. 2 of them being male and 1 of them being the female zucchini plant. So I get to pollinate it today. I have a paintbrush because I'm just gonna take some of the pollen off of the male flower and put it onto the female flower. You can see we have a little bit on here. Now we're gonna place this. As you can see, all the pollen is off of there and onto the female flower. And I'm gonna do it with this male flower as well and give it a better chance to actually pollinate. Okay, I actually just found a ton of pollen in the very bottom of this male plant. So I'm gonna put all of this into this female plant. All right, so that is my first zucchini pollinated ever. This one over here has a little bit of flowering, but only 1 has come up yet. So I'm not gonna have to pollinate it quite yet, maybe in the next few days, but now I know how to do it and this one's looking so good and I cannot wait for the zucchini to grow nice and big. So another thing I've been doing is cutting off the bases of these. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to grow these vertically, so I have put a pole in this pot and tied it so far twice, and I have started cutting off some of these leaves, these stems here, to make it lighter at the base and then to help it kind of grow up. So you can already see it's kind of starting to grow up and all the flowers are completely fine. There's new growth and everything, and so it's looking really, really good. We've got some new zucchinis coming in here and a little baby one over here. They're so cute. But yeah, everything's looking really, really good and healthy. And I have also started doing that on this side as well. So you can see those bottom ones are getting cut off and it's already starting to grow up. So I'm gonna just show you me cutting them off. So as you can see, these bottom 3 don't need to be here. because there's so many more leaves coming up in the middle there. So I'm simply just going to snip, snip, snip. So now there's a lot more airflow, but also it's just gonna grow straight up along this pole. I've already done quite a few, as you can see, so this is my big pile. So other than composting all of this, since I do have so much, I looked this up earlier and realized that you can kind of treat the stalks of these like celery, because they look very similar to celery. They're just a lot more hollow. And so I'm just gonna get rid of the tiny ones, like those thin ones here that aren't really gonna be helpful as pieces of celery, and then I'll show you what I do with the rest of these. Okay, so it is time to get serious now. It is another day. I didn't have time to do the whole recording of all the clips and everything last night. Plus my dad was getting really loud with his flamethrower. So I just decided to finish it today. Sorry if I look a little rough. I was helping my sister and her husband move into their new house today, so I didn't get a chance to take a shower. Sorry. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of go over a few things that I learned so far this year in gardening. I think I was having a few times of regretting like starting this series of videos so early, because it just seemed like everything went downhill, like nothing was growing like I wanted it to, and it just kind of got disappointing. But after kind of going through this whole process of trying to figure out what's going on with my garden, I'm kind of glad that I did record it, because one, now I can look back and see what I did wrong this year and fix it for next year. But two, it doesn't have to be perfect. My videos don't have to be perfect. They are meant to be entertaining and informational at best, I guess. But there's no way that I'm gonna be like all those crazy gardeners that are like, here's my perfect garden and this is how you get that. I'm just not there yet, and that's something that I'm just having to be okay with, and I honestly am, because that means I'm learning and I'm growing, and that's part of gardening, at least to me. And it's the fun part, I think. It can be disappointing at times and really sad when your crops don't grow like you hoped they would and you don't have that much vegetables to eat that year, but I think the learning process is a lot more important than the amount of food that you get out of it, so that you can learn how to not make those mistakes in the future. So I wanted to start with the main thing that I've kind of been talking about through all of my videos. I keep saying, oh, soil this, soil that. Yeah, I think that is definitely the main issue that I had this year. I didn't learn until pretty late that I needed to rotate my soil every 2 to 3 years, because of course your vegetables and your plants are going to suck out all the nutrients, and then there's eventually going to be no nutrients left for them to partake. So how are they going to grow without nutrients? You can only fertilize them so much. And I didn't even put fertilizer mixed into the soil. I was just liquid fertilizing them and like that manure, that kind of stuff at the very beginning and throughout this whole growing season. So I think that's definitely been the biggest thing that I noticed is like, okay, I didn't do the soil right, but next year I have a plan. I did so much research, and I'm gonna do the whole like I believe like cardboard at the bottom with like some sticks and like brown material, and then you put in your own compost, and then you put in your topsoil. And I actually, as I was showing you, I have a compost thing now, so I'm creating my own compost, which is hopefully going to make it a lot cheaper for me this next year, and not having to buy my like compost that's already made, or if I do have to buy some, not as much. So that's my plan, and it's gonna be a process for sure, because I'm going to have to take out all of the soil that is in my garden currently and put it somewhere. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to figure that out, but I just have to get rid of all of it because that is not good soil anymore. I've realized that. And starting fresh, which honestly I'm excited about starting fresh, because I know that means that my plants are gonna be so good next year, and I cannot wait. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that I noticed this year through growing and all that kind of stuff and researching stuff. Why are my plants dying? Why do they look terrible? So yeah, but it gets me excited because, like I said, I know next year is gonna be poppin'. It's gonna be so good in the garden. I cannot wait. And also, since I will be having to take all of the soil out of my garden, I do want to expand my garden and make it bigger for next year, because there's so many other things that I want to grow. And you're probably like, Serena, that's so ambitious. You don't even know if your plants are growing well, like if they're gonna grow well in your soil. I'm pretty sure they are going to, with all the facts and research behind me. I'm pretty sure they are, but I cannot wait to try to tackle so many new vegetables. This year, zucchini was new for me. What else was carrots? I tried spinach for the first time this year. That of course did not work well, and neither did the garlic, but now I know what to do for next year, so I'm really excited to try those again. And I want to try so many other things. I really want to dabble with melons next year, cantaloupe and watermelon. I've been told cantaloupe are super easy to grow. Watermelon are a little bit harder, but I'm willing to try. And I also want to try to do corn, because I love sweet corn so much, and being able to like the possibility of like next year being able to go out and pick some corn off the stalk and have it ready for dinner is just such a fun idea, and I cannot wait, and I hope that I can do that next year. But yeah, there's just so many things that I really want to try next year. So many different varieties of things too, and just different ways of growing things in containers rather than in the ground to give myself more space. I really want to try potatoes, so I'll probably, I don't actually know if I'm going to do them in ground or in containers. We'll see. I've done a little bit of garden planning for next year. I mean, let's be for real, I made an entire note on my phone for 2026 garden, so, and I even drew a picture of what I want my garden to look like and where everything is going to go, so but you know, we're gonna be loose on that. But another thing that we're gonna be doing, well, I guess it's August 1st, so this month, is me and my dad are going to build a greenhouse from hand, from scratch. We're probably gonna try to find blueprints, but still, by hand. And that's gonna give me a lot more space to do a lot more growing. My plan is to put the smaller vegetables like lettuce, spinach, basil, any other kind of herbs that I want to grow in there, so that they're not going to be like destroyed by weather or too much sun, because that was, I believe, my issue with my basil. My basil is looking so bad right now. It looks terrible. I think it's either the sun or some sort of bug that came along and just bit it to pieces. I've only been able to get a few really good leaves, and I instantly dried them and crushed them up and put them in a jar, because I was like, I need to save these. I need to save anything that I possibly can this year. So I'm gonna try to do better and protect them next year. But also I think I'm gonna be able to grow they're gonna be smaller melons, So I'm going to try to grow my melons in the greenhouse as well, so I have more space in the garden. But I'm also just going to make the garden bigger. I'm going to add, I think, 2 more squares to it if there's space. We have an issue with sun. Like, we have a lot of trees around our house, so sometimes the trees block the sun from getting to the garden for the amount of hours that it really needs. But my dad did just cut down a few trees, so we'll see. I might be able to expand it, and I really, really hope I will. But anyway, back to, that was a long rant, I'm so sorry. Back to another thing that I learned with the whole canopy. So I just got the canopy, I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks ago, because I mentioned earlier, I was seeing that my tomatoes were growing. They were getting full size, but they were not ripening. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, they've been full size for weeks and they're not getting any bigger, so what's going on? And so I started looking it up, and they were like, well, it might be because of like it's too hot. Because tomatoes, I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, they grow best in like 55 to 65 degree weather, but once it gets like 75, I think, or higher, like, yeah, good luck. Like, those things are not gonna grow, or they're not gonna ripen at least. And that was what was happening. We were having so many stupid hot days that it was just the sun beating on them for like 6 hours, and they just could not handle it at all. And not to mention my zucchini plants were literally withering, like the leaves were like drooping, and I was like, they don't look good. So I was like, okay, how can I fix this? And they were like, well, shade covers. I was like, okay, I'm literally gonna get one right now, tell me where. And so I looked it up, and I got a 50% shade cover because I still wanted them to get warmth, but they said that takes it down, I think, about 15 degrees. And I was like, okay, that's perfect, that's what I need. And so I got them, and after waiting for 2 weeks, they instantly started ripening, and you can see how they look now. They look so good, and so I'm really, really happy that it actually worked. So literally all you guys have to do is just look up, hey, why are my tomatoes literally not ripening? And they'll tell you, and most likely it's right, it's correct. And that was such a big help, oh my word. And so I'm going to use that again next year. I won't have it on the whole time, because in the beginning they need the sun, but once I'm seeing that it's like gonna be in the 80s, high 70s to 80s and stuff like that, I'm instantly gonna be putting it on, just so that they're protected by the sun. And you might be thinking, well, there's like tomato varieties that are heat resistant, and I might try them, but I'm more excited about just trying other varieties that aren't specifically for heat resistant. I really like the varieties that I chose, and I don't think any of them are. I mean, clearly, or else they would have ripened. But I really like the varieties that I have, and so knowing this trick, I'm just going to use it next year, and hopefully that they will grow perfectly. So, but yeah, those were the two, I mean, pretty much the two only things that I was noticing and that I learned that about the garden. I mean, of course I learned other little tiny things, but those were the two big things that like affected my plants this year. Also, of course, bugs. So I got some Japanese beetle traps, and I'm gonna definitely be using them next year. But also this powder that I just bought is really working really well. I'm gonna start by putting that on probably pretty early, because I made the mistake of watching my leaves get eaten and just being like, you know, what can I do about it? They don't have Japanese traps available in my store right now. They were out of stock for like weeks, and I was like, I can't do anything about it. Yeah, I probably could have bought them off of Amazon. Didn't really think that it was that big of a deal until they started eating like all of my leaves, and I was like, yeah, I should probably get some. So yeah. Other than that though, that's kind of the main things that I learned. And fertilizing too. I'm always learning how to fertilize better. The liquid fertilizer that I bought, it's actually an organic fertilizer. I think I'll put a picture of it in. I cannot remember the name of it if you guys are interested, but it seems to really help as much as it can, at least, with literally no nutrients in the soil. I think that fertilizer has carried all of my plants, and that's the only reason that they are growing. So do with that information as you will. But yeah, I think those are the main things that I just wanted to talk about today, because I was definitely feeling very bummed at times that my garden was not doing what I thought it was gonna do or hoping it was gonna do. And I was so excited about it this year. I was like, I got so many plants to try. I'm so excited. And I really, really got into gardening just starting this year. Like, I was doing it last year and the last 2 years or 3 years, but just casually, just like, oh yeah, we have tomatoes, oh that's cool, that kind of thing. And this year was the only year that I really got into it and was like, I'm fully into this. And I was watching this YouTuber the other day, one of my favorite gardening YouTubers, and she said, it seems like the more experienced I am at gardening, the worse my crops are. And I was like, that's so real. Like, that's literally all I was feeling this year. I was like, what the crap? Now that I'm fully invested in all of my plants, they're dying? What the heck? But of course, little did I know it's mainly because of the soil. But I guess in a way I wasn't more experienced. But it felt like that because the first 2 years that I literally just like put some tomato plants and pepper plants in the ground and let them grow, like they were doing great. But thinking back, of course, that was when my soil was first put in, so it was at its richest. And of course it's going to produce amazing plants when it's the richest because it has so much nutrients to give. So just thinking like that instead of thinking, oh my gosh, like what am I, like literally what is wrong, like I'm better at gardening now but my plants are terrible. Well, let's think about the variables from the years before. It's not because you're better that they're getting worse. It's just because you don't know everything and you're still learning. But yeah, so I just wanted to make this video really quick to first of all show you guys an update of the garden because I have been kind of blown away that all these things have just been growing. Not everything is growing, of course, but a lot, and I'm so excited. I think I've gotten like, oh my gosh, 5 cups of like my, I think they're the Husky Red and the pear tomatoes this in the last 2 weeks. Like they've been growing like crazy. Like every single time I'll pick like 2, like 5 more will become ripe and I'm like, I can't. But it's so exciting. I literally just made dinner last night and I had fresh veggies and they were my tomatoes from the garden and they were so good and I just cannot wait. We haven't been able to pick enough green beans to have fully for dinner, but my dog does love green beans, so they all go to him, of course. It's his favorite little snack and I love it. He always comes out to the garden with me and I give him a green bean as many times as I can when there is a green bean to pick. And so seeing all of those flowers makes me so excited and very hopeful that we will have enough to eat with dinner at some point soon. So I'm really excited and I'm hopeful, and that's as good as I can be right now. Just hopeful and excited. But yeah, I just keep looking over there because my garden is literally right there and I just love looking at it, especially the bushy green beans. I can never get over that sight. Every single year it looks like that, but it's just, I love the look of it. And I'm really gonna invest in trying to find an even bigger trellis next year because I want those green beans growing 7 feet tall, like as tall as they possibly can. And yeah, maybe I won't be able to reach them, maybe I'll need a step stool, but you know what, that's better to have so many green beans and need a step stool than to have no green beans or very little amounts of green beans. So I also want to do peas next year, that's one of them. So hopefully we'll have green beans and peas, and I love both of them so much, so I'll be so excited if that works out. So yeah, just wanted to talk to you guys and give you an update and tell you what I learned, because I know I haven't posted a full garden video in a few weeks, and not that you guys are like demanding it, but I love making them. And I was like, well, there's honestly not too much to talk about, and I don't want to just give another garden tour. I just did, and it's like not enough things growing to be like, whoa, look how my garden just took off. Like it's not, but I know if you guys like my videos that you'll appreciate this video anyway. So yeah, if you do really like this video or any of my other videos, please consider liking and subscribing. It's really, really helpful, and that way I can tell what you guys actually like to see. Also, if you guys haven't, go over to my shorts and check those out. I also do a lot of baking and cooking, and I do shorts of those that I love to post. And so check those out if you like that kind of stuff too, and just support the channel. But yeah, with all of this being said, I hope you guys, 1, have an amazing rest of your day, and 2, I'll see you later. Bye, friends.